Hi everyone, welcome to my Sims ABC challenge. This is both a build by challenge and a generational challenge that I've been writing over the past couple of months. And I created it because I really enjoyed how the Not So Berry challenge got me to explore various aspects of gameplay that I wouldn't normally choose, but I was always interested in going a little bit further in terms of the build by components, apart from coordinating just the decor with our generational color. So, another aspect of why I started writing this is because I watch a lot of Simmers on both Twitch and YouTube, and they all have a tendency to really comment when building that they didn't realize that random items exist at all. So, in writing this challenge, I wanted to delve deep into the world of quirky, random, weird things that we often forget about when we fall into our own individual playing habits. So, the key components of this challenge are that it is a 26 generational challenge. It's the ABCs we're going to go start to finish, and each Sim's name for their generation must start with their letter for that generation. It includes weird build shells because each generation has to live in a home that is the shape of their first name. So that's just the outside walls, inside walls you can do whatever with. It's going to allow you to explore build by objects that you never would have thought of because you can only furnish your Sim's home with items that start with their first name. So if you're in the A generation, all of the items in their house, including like doors, windows, everything like that, has to start with the letter A. And it'll also get you to explore careers and aspirations and even traits that you don't often use together because they probably don't fit together. So with those basics being said, I'd like to jump into some more of the specifics, and thank you for coming on this ride with me. I'm sorry this video is a little bit boring, but I swear next video we will jump into some actual gameplay. Now let's take a look at some specific build by rules. So in terms of build by, each heir must represent their letter of the alphabet by furnishing and constructing their homes with items whose names start with or significantly feature that letter. So for example, the Crisponics Adequate Fridge is good for both A generation and C generation. And the heir's room can use their letter as well, but that next letter is not allowed to be anywhere outside of the bedroom. So once your B-Gen Sim is born, they get to have all those wonderful B letter things in their bedroom, but the letter A has to be featured everywhere else in their home. And this does articles, so A, the, this, don't count towards the item name. And CC might help you with this. So I'm not a huge CC user, but I've found that things like Delicato Lounge and Delicious Kitchen by Little Dika and Delagrassi are wonderful for this challenge so far. Secondly, the letter Sim must live in a home that is the shape of their generational letter from young adult until death. So once they age up from teen, you have to build them a house that's in the shape of the letter of their name. So Alyssa, who is my first Sim, she lives in an A-shaped house. Number 3, no money cheats. So your founding generation starts with the starting funds for your build, and subsequent generational houses must be built or purchased by transferring those funds from their parent. So be very careful, or you can do a rags to riches type thing if that's how you choose. Fourth, because there are some letters where some things just won't exist, you have 100 points during the challenge in total to use on build by items outside of your current letter. So for example, if there are no doors that start with the letter A, you might use a point to purchase a style of door, and then you can use that door as many times as you wish during the generation. But these items do not transfer from generation to generation, so be careful with your points. And lastly, for build by rules, you can keep and use furniture items that are unlocked through careers without using an out of letter penalty point. So this could help you as well, especially if you are in a career that unlocks some nice things that'll maybe upgrade some cheaper or less helpful items in your home. In terms of Sims gameplay, you can play on normal or short lifespan, whatever your preference is, and traits can also be applied in the order of your choosing. So if it works better for your story, You might want to have them be ambitious earlier in life. It all depends on what you choose. But when a trait for the letter doesn't exist, or if you're missing a pack for a trait, the missing trait must be randomized, and you need to roll a die or use a random number generator to see how many times you click the randomizer. This means that it could be a little bit chaotic in your game. Your heir also needs to reach the top of their career and complete their aspiration before you move on to focusing on the next generation. You can start on some little details before you finish your first gen, but you cannot truly move on until you have finished all of the requirements. If you're missing pack-specific aspirations, careers, etc., your aspiration is your choice, career as well. You must use a random number generator from 1 to 6 to determine how many children your generation will have. You can choose your heir from any of the current generation children unless stated in the rules. You can also roll a die if that's easier for you. I keep a die beside my computer for that reason, for challenges as well. Cheats can be used, but not excessively. So if you are using this challenge to complete PlayStation trophies or Xbox achievements, the use of most cheats will actually disable your award completion in your saves, so just be careful. I have designed this challenge to complete a couple of those challenges and trophies and achievements, so it could be helpful for you to not use very many cheats. And last but not least, spouses, when you get married, can bring their household money upon moving in unless otherwise stated by the generation. This means that if your sim has to move out with no money because of a generation requirement, but they get married right away, you could end up with some quick funds there. Okay, so now that I am done all of that talking with my general rules, let's take a look at the first generation here. So our first generation is the A generation. I've written a little blurb for each of the sim generations to help you build a little bit of story to get started. But apart from that, it is pretty much up to you. So our A generation has the traits of active, art lover, and ambitious. So they go together rather well. But their aspiration is angling ace and their career is astronaut. So you need to complete that angling ace and reach level 10 of the astronaut career before you move on. And their gen specific rules are also that their first child must be the heir because they are the first of this challenge, and they have to reach at least level 5 in 6 different skills. So almost kind of like the Renaissance sim aspiration, but not quite. Your sim is just really ambitious and wants to do everything in life. So thank you. Let's take a look at my first generation, and next episode we'll look at a little bit of gameplay. So this is Alyssa Letterbet. She is a cute little sim. I basically used the randomized trait to get her looks, but then I chose her some cute yellow and brown outfits because I don't normally use that in gameplay. Alyssa Letterbet obviously has all of her wonderful traits and started as a young adult. And here we see the outside of her house. So you can see that it's in the shape of a letter A. It's not super complicated. It's not the prettiest house, but it meets our requirements. And if we take a look inside at the very beginning, her house is pretty bare bones. That $20,000 simoleons does not get us very far. And I was having a hard time finding things that start with the letter A. But once she gets working, you guys will see in the next video that she has a more full house because I played a little bit before I started recording to make sure that the challenge was ready to go for me to put on YouTube. Thank you for joining me for this really boring video, and I hope you were able to stick through it, and I hope you guys enjoy my ABC challenge, and I hope to see your comments on future videos. I've posted the link in the comments so that you can check out the rules if you want to play yourself. And have a wonderful evening, guys. See you next video.